When I first got into mobile home park investing, I had no idea the importance of the utility infrastructure. Luckily, I had a mentor that took me under his wing and taught me about, all the different things to inspect and due diligence. I went to the MHU Bootcamp by Frank Rolfe and Dave Reynolds. And through that, I got a due diligence handbook that talked about the utility infrastructures and what to inspect. And that really opened my eyes. And I was grateful that I took that boot camp before I bought my first park. So just at a high level, there's private utilities and then there's public utilities. So public utilities are much more preferred. That's like city provided, city water and city sewer, where you connect up to the main and the city takes care of the wastewater treatment plants and, the water, making sure that it's clean and it's maintained and it's tested and so forth. So that's a much more preferred method when buying a mobile home park. If you're buying a park, which we have a few, and I've also invested passively in mobile home parks where they're on private systems, the well system, the well water requires additional work, right? It requires additional chlorine reads, typically daily. It requires annual testing or quarterly testing to check out the contamination levels and so forth. And, if you have an issue with the system, with your holding tanks and so forth, you'll have to shut off the water to the park. And you're basically a public water system, since the whole park and all the different homes are feeding off of that. So as you can imagine, there's additional risks that come with that and costs, right? Because now you're in charge. Instead of just having the city maintain all of that, you're in charge and you are the one maintaining it. So there's additional risks with the private well system. Now the sewer system, private sewer systems can be the most expensive situation that you can get into. And this is why in the MHU Bootcamp, Frank talks about, for your first park or your first couple of parks, avoid, things like a lagoon system, which a lagoon system, Frank has said that, the EPA is kind of trying to discontinue those, and different states are, pro or against these lagoon systems. But that's out of our purchase criteria. We don't even look at parks with lagoons, because it's basically like a pond in the back of the park. And then there's typically like an aeration system that's like spraying the gray water, out. And that's kind of how it cleans the sewage. So lagoon systems have high risk, right? You have to be fenced in this pond, and then it's in the back of the park somewhere. So there's issues with that. And then wastewater treatment plants are another big expense. And that's why when you're looking to build a new park, you're looking to connect into city utilities to get public utilities, because the value of the park for a public utility park will be substantially higher than one with private utilities.